hold. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by. I'm Dave, and if you're new here, welcome. And if this is your second time or third time or fourth time or whatever time, welcome back. Now, if you've been here before and you've gotten some value out of watching the videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button and show me some loving. We know you want to, don't you? Yeah. So regardless of how you got here, welcome. Thanks for stopping in and checking it out. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 top reasons for me that a ketogenic diet makes sense. And stick around till the end of the video where I'm going to share with you what I consider to be the biggest negative aspect of being on a high-fat, low-carb diet. Now, I'm not a doctor or a nutritionist, and I'm not going to give you medical advice. That's not what this is. Nor am I suggesting that you follow my journey. My thoughts and perspectives are based on my own personal experience, and you can take it up or not. I'm just a guy that's had some success with a nutritional strategy that's worked for him, and I'm excited to bring it to you. Okay, enough liability insurance, let's get started. So the clear number one reason that most people choose to remove refined carbs like sugar and processed flour, bread, pastas, pastries, the grains, all that good stuff is weight loss. And that's really why I started. So how does it work? Let's start with a little bit of biochemistry for you. For every gram of carbs that your body stores in the gas tank as glycogen, which is a simple sugar that your body uses for immediate energy, it also stores 3 grams of water along with it. You can store as much as 15 grams of glycogen per kilogram of body weight. Now, can you guess where we're going to go with this? I think you probably can. Let's do a real life word problem. Here's the question. How much excess water would somebody potentially be carrying if they weighed 70 kilograms? That's 154 pounds. Okay, I won't keep you in any more suspense than I need to. The answer is 6.9 pounds. So as you can see, if you implement a fairly strict ketogenic diet where you stop eating refined carbs, you can almost guarantee, depending on your starting weight and how much glycogen you've got stored in your liver, to lose between 7 and 10 pounds, which is 100% water. And after that, it only gets better. When you deprive yourself of the carbs that your body has gotten used to for burning as energy, you naturally use up the stored glycogen. And when that's gone, typically in about a week or so if you go keto, your genius body starts using fat because it's looking for another source of energy. Now, as long as you don't overindulge in your new low-carb diet and you maintain a small caloric deficit, your body has no other choice but to use that stored fat as energy, even when you're sleeping. That's pretty cool. And that's why when you change from being a carb eater or a carb burner to being a fat burner, you use that stored fat that was meant to be used when you don't have any glycogen, and you lose weight. My number 2 reason for being on a low-carb ketogenic diet is to control blood glucose. Now, there's a complex relationship between blood glucose and insulin, and I'm going to try to explain that to you in as simple a way as I possibly can, because basically it's so complicated that I don't really even know it that well, but I know it well enough to put it into simple terms. Insulin is the hormone that handles glucose in the blood. It tells your cells to open up and to let in the glucose to use up immediately as energy, or it tells your cells to shuttle off that extra glucose that it can't use as energy and to store it as fat. So what happens when you chow down on a big carb meal or snack? So when you eat foods that are high in sugar or easily digested starches like bread and rice and pasta, they break down very quickly and enter the bloodstream as glucose. This triggers your body into releasing a boatload of insulin to control the high amounts of glucose that are present in your bloodstream. So long as you've got extra glucose in your blood and you've got a properly functioning pancreas, which is where insulin is made, you're also going to have insulin in the blood along with that glucose. and it's going to keep doing its thing, either opening up the cells to burn or to store that extra glucose as glycogen. You want to have a good insulin response because free glucose in high concentrations is toxic to cells and creates all kinds of problems. When your body is consistently high in carbs and sugars, your body may not respond to the way that it used to and become insensitive to insulin. If your body becomes insensitive to insulin, glucose isn't properly absorbed anymore and remains circulating in your bloodstream. Higher than normal glucose in the blood is called hyperglycemia and contributes to a variety of metabolic issues and organ damage. So clearly you don't want unchecked free blood glucose. The next of my top 5 reasons for being on a keto diet is how it reduces inflammation. Inflammation is the body's response to injury, toxins, or infections. It's a necessary response in keeping us healthy, but too much inflammation can cause muscle and joint pain, swelling, stiffness, fatigue, bloating, and a host of other ailments that have been associated with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. I can tell you personally, as someone who suffers from chronic pain from previous injuries, that when I'm off keto, my beat up old body gets stiffer than a frozen frog in an ice storm. It really makes a noticeable difference. And it's one that keeps me wanting to stay on keto. Don't forget, there's a special bonus at the end of the video where I talk about the one thing that is really a downside to the ketogenic diet. And also I think I'm going to throw in an outtake reel as well. So keep watching. My number 4 reason to be on keto is improved mental function. Keto actually started out in the 20s and 30s, where it was used as an effective treatment for kids with epilepsy who were resistant to the drugs that they used at the time. We've known that keto has had a positive effect on the brain for a long time, but the body of scientific research specifically looking at what happens in the brain when you restrict carbs has been steadily growing and proving to be a remarkable benefit. Glucose is your brain's main fuel. It can't use fats directly for energy like your muscles can, but it can use ketones very effectively. When your body is making ketones from fat to use as fuel instead of glucose from carbs, your brain can get 75% of its required energy just from fat metabolism. So what are the benefits of ketones in the brain? Well, I'm glad you asked. Here's a very brief summary of some of the findings that the latest research has found. Ketones are neuroprotective antioxidants. That means they protect your brain cells from reactive oxygen molecules that are in your blood. Ketones are a more efficient form of energy than glucose. Older brains tend to lose their efficiency to use glucose and actually prefer to use ketones. Ketones increase mitochondrial production and efficiency, enhancing the capacity of brain cells and protecting them from neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Ketones trigger the production of proteins that support the survival of existing nerve cells and the growth of new ones, especially in areas of the brain that are vital to learning, memory, and higher thinking. So by following a ketogenic lifestyle, science has shown that you can boost brain function, prevent neurodegenerative disease, or reduce the severity of brain-related issues, decrease inflammation and neuronal damage, improve brain cell growth and function, and regulate your brain's neurotransmitters. As far as I'm concerned, I think that's a pretty good trade-off for removing sugars and starches from your diet. My last top 5 reason for being on keto is appetite suppression. There are really only 2 sides to hunger or appetite control. What causes you to feel full and what causes you to feel hungry. One big factor in the sensation of hunger is the hormone ghrelin. Ghrelin is produced when your stomach is empty, when you have low levels of nutrients in your blood, or sometimes when you see, smell, or even think about food. So it stands to reason that if you can control the release of ghrelin, you can control your sensation of hunger, and that's exactly what happens. On the other side of the coin is a hormone called leptin. Leptin is also known as the satiety hormone. It makes you feel full after eating. If you can boost your leptin levels, you'll feel fuller more quickly, you won't eat as much during or after your meal, and you'll feel full for much longer. So as you can see, hunger, just like other things that we've talked about, is a balance between hormones. A keto diet has been proven to suppress ghrelin and increase the production of leptin. That's perfect for controlling your appetite. I know from firsthand experience that when I'm in ketosis and if I'm involved in a project, there have been times when I just simply forgot to eat. Really, no kidding, just forgot because I had no sense of hunger. I can't begin to tell you what a freeing sensation that is, not to be a slave to your hunger. If you've made it this far into the video, congratulations for hanging in there. I want to thank you for doing that. I know it's probably been a bit of a hard slog at times, but I think it's worth it in the long run just to get yourself a basic understanding of what keto's about and what the 5 things are that I find to be the most beneficial. I'm going to take it down a notch and share with you my personal thoughts about what I consider to be one of the worst unintended consequences of following a ketogenic lifestyle. For sure, the difficulty in controlling your urge to tuck into a freshly baked loaf of bread or to eat a whole flat of Danish pastries, which I have done, is real. But honestly, for me, the biggest unintended consequence of losing a ton of weight on the ketogenic diet that I'd been following for the last year, 2 years, was losing my ass. I'm not kidding. I literally lost my booty. I've spoken to others who have shared that similar experience, and they feel the same pain that I do. So in addition to having to buy a whole new wardrobe to cover my bony ass, now I have the added difficulty in having to train and to work hard to get my butt back. And that's no easy thing at my age. But I suppose at the end of the day, if that's the worst thing that happened to me for following a keto diet, I have a lot to be thankful for. So hang around for the blooper reel. It's kind of fun. See you later. The next reason that I'm on a ketogenic diet is how inflammation is the body's response to injury. Inflammation, no, that's what it's called. Here's a very brief summary of the late... You can't get past this. Man, damn it. Damn it. Oh, I'm still sorry. Ketones trigger the production of proteins that support the... Ketones trigger the Ketones increase. Ketones trigger the production of nerve. Wowee. Ketones trigger the production. Oh my God. Stop. If you boost your leptin levels. What the hell was that? I lost the light. Yeah, shit. Glucose is your brain's... That's hard to say. Oh my God. What is wrong? What is it? What? I can't. Protecting them from the